Hey, it's Jegant Drago here, and I wanted to do a quick video on the tank. I know a lot of people have maybe done their thing about how its armor is too weak, it's too slow, and honestly, I totally agree. I'm just going to go through my first. Yeah, I killed my friend. He was in the way. It's his goddamn fault. How could you get run over by a tank? Seriously, it's not my goddamn fault. But in any case, god damn it. Arrowhead just goes through ups and downs. They show up with the coolest tank ever and yet gives us some of the most weirdest design, like controlling thing I've ever seen. One of the first things is that usually a tank could just rotate on its, let's say, axis, right? One side of the wheel will go in reverse, the other one goes forward, and you kind of just rotate. I don't understand how or why this tank just can't rotate. It just works like a car, and it has such a wide rotation. I'm just gonna go through one by one. Everyone wants to complain about its armor, but the controls, it's a bloody tank, and yet it just gets stuck on the smallest rocks and pebbles on the floor. Just couldn't they just design so that it just moves forward and just glides over the rocks, and we're just gonna say like, okay, it's a tank is just gonna move through the environment and that's it. But here we just gotta do this weird realism thing where it goes over a small rocket and suddenly it's gonna be stuck. It's just weird. Just let the gameplay flow, man. Let it flow, that you just move forward. Now speed, I'm okay with the speed. Okay, like it's a tank, I'm gonna give it up for the speed. The speed is fine, but it's the rotation on its axis. When you don't press forward, you just press to the right or to the left and then let it rotate. Okay, and then there's a debate about teamwork, and I can understand that. And I just think I just had to go research a couple other tanks, and there seems to be a thing where there is a commander spot, where the commander spot, and he would be in charge of both the driver and the person managing the gun. And then there's the reloader guy. So technically 4 people in the tank. But I'm putting in, since this is a Helldivers thing, and we're just gonna talk about the gameplay aspect. Okay, that if you are the driver, of course you wouldn't be able to use the main guns because it should have some teamwork, and the guy who's managing the guns will have his main machine gun. Okay, that's fine, but there should be a third gun, which is, let's say, a Star Wars level light pen machine gun for the driver, and it would just be placed right at the front of the tank, similar to the bot's tank. You know, the bot's tank also has a machine gun at the front of the tank, right below its main cannon, just somewhere around there, so that as the driver would just at least have a small machine gun to use in battle. Now the second option is that other tanks would have a machine gun right on top of the tank, and then for the driver you get a more 360 rotation, but it will be light pen. Okay, maybe even a liberator. I don't even know. Like, let's go with the weakest option. It will be the liberator type weapon, like what we see in the booster, right? There's that booster that when you call a resupply package, and then it would spawn a small liberator turret up on top. Yeah, let's go with the weakest option possible, just for gameplay and enjoyment and fun, that the driver himself will get a small liberator turret that can rotate 360 degrees right on top of the tank, and it will have, let's say, 250 ammo, something less, you know. Just what's the weakest option possible. The stronger option would be that it will have a Star Wars light pen. Stronger. I want to keep it a little bit fair. Okay. If it's best option for me, it would be medium machine gun. That would be best option, just for that sense that the guy who's running the guns will still have the best guns. Okay, since it's teamwork, but just some small offensive options for the driver to defend himself at the very least. Okay, now I'm a little bit ticked off with this idea that we're in the future, yet somehow our tanks are some of the oldest designed tanks in the world. When in our here I am just stuck on this fucking rock and cannot move, so it's over. You can't move. Like, this giant tank just gets stuck in the pebble. Like, what the fuck? And you're talking about fun. Like, I'm literally not gonna use this tank anymore. I'm gonna skip a little bit about not using this tank anymore. Like, I'm still a team player, meaning that I would be more than happy to reload an ally's backpack. And I still wish that Arrowhead would finally update their game so that you don't need to carry the teammate's backpack to reload them. Just go up to the teammate who's already wearing the backpack and just have a hotkey to reload them. It would just make the gameplay smoother, and you promote teamwork much more. Isn't that the point, to promote more teamwork? And so the same with this tank. I will never bring this tank ever into a battlefield. And if there's someone else who brings a tank, I'll be happy to go help them out. But there's a very high chance that they will end up being the one driving and I'm the one shooting. And everyone knows that when you're driving, you literally don't really get to do anything. And that's why I was having the first talk about at least giving the driver a chance to control a small machine gun turret on top of the tank that can rotate 360 degrees so that they can defend themselves. It doesn't even need to be a strong machine gun. Now, let's say the person who calls in the tank usually would be the driver, and just like how some people are wishing for a stratagem thrower or launcher from the mech, the same idea can be applied for the tank. That if you are the driver, you will have the ability to at least launch your other stratagems while driving the tank. It's about the gameplay. It's about having fun. And if you can do more, you can have more fun. And if you're just driving and you cannot shoot, you cannot do anything, and the driving kind of sucks, it's not going to be fun after even the first time around. Okay, let's just be real. Just like many of the other weapons that gets neglected, this will be one too. Initially, I thought, okay, if you're the driver and you want to switch, right now switching is very difficult. You need to get out from the front and then run all the way to the back, not the top of the tank. You have to go all the way to the back of the tank and then get in. Like, I don't know why they designed it that way to make it so difficult. Now, at least switching seats should be possible. I double checked with a couple tanks design. It seems like the driver is very much separated from the main guns section of the tank, if we are talking about realism, just to double check. In this scenario and gameplay wise, at the very least, maybe if there is a way or option to switch to the gun portion, it's not something that will happen right away. So it would be almost like reloading the cannon. If you haven't tried out the tank, when you shoot the cannon, there's a reloading timer and for you to then shoot again. So I'm just saying there should be like a massive delay to switch between driving the tank and then shooting the tank, just for gameplay flow. If you're truly alone in this game or there's no one willing to help you out, which you will find yourself in that situation sometimes. Okay. But I'm not gonna let you guys go out with a game of just complaining about tanks. So I basically type in chat at the end of the game that the tanks kind of feels kind of bad. One of the guys says it's skill issue and that he will be the one to drive the tank, and the teamwork works. Okay, that my teammate drove the tank and then he just pinged for me for where to shoot, basically. And sometimes I was just wondering, like, where can I shoot? I literally couldn't see like the barracks or enemies to shoot at. And he was a pretty good driver, in all honesty. So the tank can be good when it's really good and you have a good driver with you, let's say. And then and it's quite fun to use. Like the highs are the highs, but the lows are extremely low. I really want to complain about how this massive tank that is much harder to pick up is then suddenly has an unlimited supply for you to use, and we are still stuck with the exosuit having a limit supply of 3. Like, what's up with that, you know? And if the tank can be unlimited, our Jeep, car, truck is unlimited, when is Arrowhead gonna let the exosuit gonna be unlimited as well? Again, it's just all about that fun, right? Or just having that solo power. Controlling the mech by yourself is too much power for you, and the tank could get destroyed too easily, so they're making it unlimited, though technically it's not unlimited, because 10-minute cooldown in a 40-minute mission only means that you get it for 3 times actually. So, you know, that's just how it is. But yeah, I have a big question, an open question about damage, since it's a little bit difficult to really understand. When we fire at the enemies, we get the sign that the bullets basically bounce off and we basically do 0 damage. How come when it comes to our own equipment that we still take a little bit of a tick damage? Like, honestly, when it comes to something like the tank, we should be able to just tank all of the average bullet from, let's say, the bots faction here, or any small melee attacks from the bugs, you know. Since it's high enough armor, they shouldn't be able to penetrate that armor. But playing even the exosuit, it just seems like even for those small attacks, it seems like our HP is still slowly going down and down, and we would just instantly die from even the smallest units, when that would never happen for us when we use a light pen against something that has medium or higher pen, higher armor, you know. So that's just weird. It's just weird balancing. It's understandable if we got caught in the middle of a open area and then we get like a ton of missiles flying at us, so a lot of missiles hitting the exosuit would instantly kill us. That's understandable. And then if we are a tank, the missiles would maybe do half damage, or, you know, a little bit less damage, because the armor is supposed to be higher to tank all of those missiles. And for the tank, if it starts getting hit by actual bot turrets or Bio Titan spits, you know, those things are naturally gonna kill the tank, and that's just how the balancing goes. But once again, it's Arrowhead doesn't want us to be too tanky, even for a tank that's really slow and really not maneuverable. And yeah, it would just be a matter of time in a week or so where this new stratagem, it's, you know, again, the highs are highs, but the lows are so low that I don't think I'll see this thing very soon, if not anymore. Well, let me know what you think of the Bastion tank, and honestly, I am very much looking forward to whatever vehicle customizations they may have in the future, because there's still a lot of potential for this game, and there's still a lot of potential for having upgrades. I'm a proponent for not straight up buffing many of the weapons. I feel like a lot of the buffs and upgrades could just be put into some kind of weapons upgrade that is purchasable for players who have been playing the game for a long time. A lot of these add-ons and upgrades could be something bought in the ship module, for example, like some of the bigger upgrades, you know. But it's just a difference of opinion. And yeah, I still have a couple more videos to make about Helldivers, and still that grunt fantasy game pitch inspired by PlanetSide 2. So be sure to subscribe for that, and until we meet again.